So, have you ever really stopped to think about what it takes to get an idea from, say, a sketch on a napkin to a fully functioning app on your phone? I mean, it's not magic, but it's pretty darn close. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the invisible architecture that powers pretty much everything in our digital world. Right? Think about your favorite app for a second. At some point, that was just a spark of an idea in someone's head. So how does that spark leap from a person's mind onto literally millions of phones and computers all working perfectly? Well, that transformation is an amazing feat of modern engineering. And believe it or not, it all starts with a simple plan.
You know, building software is a lot like building a massive skyscraper. You can't just show up with a pile of bricks and start stacking, right? You'd end up with a mess. No, you need a detailed blueprint, a specific way of building, the right materials, and a rock-solid foundation so the whole thing doesn't come tumbling down. And when it comes to our software skyscraper, that plan, it's absolutely everything. Every single successful software project kicks off with a really structured, thought-out blueprint. That's how you make sure the final product is stable, secure, and actually does the thing it's supposed to do.
In the world of tech, this master blueprint has a name, the Software Development Lifecycle, or SDLC for short. Just think of it as the ultimate roadmap. It's a proven process that guides a team through all the essential stages, taking an idea from just a concept all the way to a global launch and beyond.
Now, this whole cycle looks simple, but it is incredibly powerful. First, you got to figure out what the app should even do. That's requirements. Then you need a technical plan for how it's going to work. That's design. Only then can you actually start building it, which is implementation. And of course, before you show it to anyone, you have to squash all the bugs in testing. Finally, you release it with deployment, but it doesn't stop there. The cycle continues with maintenance, because software is never really done. It's a living, breathing thing that needs constant care.
Okay, so you've got the blueprint, but that's only half the battle. You also need a building style. See, in software, there are different ways to follow that blueprint, and the style you pick, it has a huge impact on how things turn out.
The two big philosophies here are waterfall and agile. Waterfall is the old-school, traditional approach. Think of it like building that skyscraper one floor at a time. You have to completely finish the first floor before you can even think about starting the second. It's very predictable, but also super rigid. Agile, on the other hand, is the total opposite. It's all about building and shipping small, working pieces of the app in really fast cycles. This way, you can change your mind and adapt to new ideas on the fly.
In this quote right here, it gets to the absolute heart of why Agile has basically taken over the tech world. The modern world moves fast, right? What users want today might be different tomorrow. Agile isn't just a process, it's a whole mindset that says change isn't a problem to be avoided. Instead, it's an opportunity to make the product even better.
So, we have our blueprint, we have our building style. Now it's finally time for the actual construction. And in software, the building materials are lines of code. And the core instructions telling that code what to do, well, those are called algorithms.
Before a single line of code gets written, developers are thinking in algorithms. An algorithm is just the logical recipe for solving a problem. It's that simple. Let's say you want to sort your contacts alphabetically. The method your brain uses to do that, step by step, that's the algorithm. This pure logic always comes first. It's the what to do before you pick a programming language to tell the computer how to do it. Then, those algorithms get translated into a language the computer understands. And check out this timeline. It shows an incredible evolution. We started with really specialized languages like Fortran for number crunching. Then came foundational ones like C, which literally built the operating systems we still use. And today, modern languages like Python and Swift are so powerful and flexible, they run everything from complex AI to the simple apps on your watch.
All right, the app is built. It's beautiful. But now what? Where does it actually live? How does it get from some developer's laptop to millions of people all over the world? Well, for that, you need a seriously powerful engine to run on. You need infrastructure. Most of the internet, it runs on this really simple but brilliant idea, the client-server model. Your phone, your web browser, that's the client. When you open an app, you're basically sending a request over the internet to a huge, powerful computer called a server. That server then finds what you ask for, like your friend's new photos, and sends it right back to your device. Simple as that.
And that leads us to the million-dollar question. A single server is fine for a few hundred users, maybe a few thousand. But what happens when your app goes viral? When millions of people are all hitting it at the exact same time? That one server would just melt. You need something much, much bigger.
And the answer, my friends, is cloud computing. Instead of buying and managing your own physical servers, you essentially rent computing power from these enormous global networks of data centers run by giants like Amazon, Google, and Microsoft. The cloud lets an app scale from 10 users to 10 million, like overnight, without anyone having to run out and plug in a new machine. It's incredible. But the cloud isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. The easiest way to think about it is like getting a pizza. IaaS, or Infrastructure as a Service, is like them giving you the dough, sauce, and cheese. You have to assemble and bake the pizza yourself. PaaS, or Platform as a Service, is like ordering a pizza for delivery. It arrives ready, you just add your own toppings, which is your code. And then there's SaaS, Software as a Service. That's like just going out to a pizza restaurant. You don't do anything. You just sit down and enjoy the final product. That's what you're doing when you use an app like Gmail or Slack. Okay, so let's take a step back and connect all these dots. From the initial blueprint to the building style, from the code to the cloud, these are the essential invisible layers of architecture that make our entire digital world possible.
So there it is, the whole journey and 4 key steps. You start with a blueprint, the SDLC, to make sure you have a solid plan. You pick a building style, like Agile, so you can adapt to change. You write the instructions using algorithms and code. And then you run the whole thing on a global engine, the cloud, to get it out to the world.
When you think about it, from the pure logic of a plan to the physical reality of servers humming away and data centers around the globe, our digital lives are built on these incredible, invisible layers. And it really makes you wonder, what's going to be the next layer of architecture that changes everything? Thanks so much for joining me on this one.